Today I'm going to be talking about pulse, respiration, and blood pressure. Your pulse is the rhythmic throbbing in the arteries as your blood goes through it. It is measured through beats per minute. The average for adults is 60 to 100 and kids is 75 to 115. So the most common points to take your pulse are your neck and your wrist. And you use two fingers when you're taking a pulse, and you want to avoid using your thumb because it has a pulse of its own and that can distract from your results. So if you have a tachy pulse, it is your heart beats faster than average, and a brady pulse is your heart is beating slower than average. So things that can take your heart beat up is exercise, anxiety, and emotions such as anger or love. Moving on to respiration, it is measured through beats per minute. And when you are taking a patient's respiration, you don't want to tell them that you are, because then they will change their rate of breathing, affecting your results. So the average for kids is 15 to 22 and adults is 12 to 20. Things that can increase your respiration rate is things such as exercise, and head injuries can actually decrease your respiration rates. Hyperventilation is an abnormal condition where your rate is too high and it can get severely high, causing more issues. Moving on to blood pressure. Blood pressure is the pressure of your blood when your heart is pumping. Your systolic measures the pressure in your arteries while your heart's beating, and your diastolic measures it in between those heartbeats when your heart is resting. So it's measured in millimeters of mercury, also known as mmHg. And eating a lot of salt or fatty foods can lead to a hyper blood pressure, which isn't good for you. Hypertension is when your blood pressure is severely high, which can cause a lot of health issues. So a normal blood pressure is your systolic is less than 120 and your diastolic is less than 80. 180 to 120 is considered severely high, and that's when you start having those issues. To locate your pulse, you want to lightly press your index and your middle finger slightly to the inside center of the bend of your elbow at heart level. And you want to make sure that your feet are flat on the floor, that your cuff is on your bare skin and not going through a thick shirt. And you want to make sure that when you're using a blood pressure cuff, it's on securely and you inflate it and deflate it to record your blood pressure. So your systolic number always comes before the diastolic number, and when you're listening to a gauge, you want to carefully listen to the pulse and then record any changes and your systolic and diastolic.